Good afternoon. We'll be in Acts 14. And it came to be in Icona that they went together into the congregation of Judah, who Saul and Barnabas, and spoke in such a way that a great number of both the Judaim and the Greeks believed. But the Judaim would not obey, stirred up the nations, and evilly influenced their beings against the brothers. So they remained a long time speaking boldly in the Master, who was bearing witness to the word of his favor, giving signs and wonders to be done by their hands. And the crowd of the city was divided, and some sided with the Judaim, and some with the emissaries. But when a move took place by both the nations and the Judaim with the rulers to mistreat and stone them, they became aware of it and fled to Lystra and Derbe, cities of Lycaonia, and the country round about. And they were bringing the good news there. And in Lystra there was a sitting of a certain man, disabled in his feet, a cripple from his mother's womb, who had never walked. This one heard Saul speaking, who looked intently at him, and seeing that he had believed to be healed, and with a loud voice, "Stand upright on your feet," and he sprang up and began to walk. But when the crowd saw what Saul had done, they lifted up their voice, saying in Lycaonia, "The mighty ones have become like men and come down to us." And they called Barnabas Zeus and Saul Hermes, since he was the chief speaker. And the chief priest of Zeus, being in front of their city, brought oxen and reeds to the gates, and wished to offer them with the crowds. And when the emissaries Barnabas and Saul heard this, they tore their garments and ran in among the crowd, crying out and saying, "Men, why are you doing this? We are also men with the same nature as you, bringing to you the good news to turn from the worthless matters to the living Elohim, who made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, who in past generations allowed all the nations to walk in their own ways, though indeed he did not leave himself without witness, doing good, giving us rain from heaven and fruit-bearing seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. Even with these words, they still had difficulty in stopping the crowds from offering to them. But Judaim arrived from Antioch and Iconium, and having won over the crowds, they stoned Saul, dragged him out of the city, thinking he was dead. But while the taught ones gathered around him, he rose up and went into the city. And on the next day he went away with Barnabas to Derbe. And having brought the good news to that city, and having made many taught ones, they returned to Lystra and Iconium and Antioch, strengthening the being of the taught ones, encouraging them to continue in the belief, and that through many pressures we have to enter the reign of Elohim. And having appointed elders in every assembly, having prayed with fasting, they committed them to the Master, in whom they had believed. And having passed through Pisidia, they came to Pamphylia. And having spoken the word in Perge, they went down to Attalia. And from there they sailed to Antioch, where they had been committed to the favor of Elohim for the work which they had completed. And having arrived and having gathered together the assembly, they related all that Elohim had done with them, and that he had opened the door of belief to the nations. And they remained there a long time with the taught ones. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible.